Ichiro Inuyashiki was just an average working guy, doing his best to provide for his family and keep them happy. However, his efforts often went unnoticed, and his family treated him poorly. Recently, he had scraped together enough money to buy a new, bigger house in a nicer neighborhood, hoping it would bring joy to his daughter Mari and his son Takeshi. But, as luck would have it, when they saw a grander house nearby, they mistakenly thought it was theirs. It was the best Ichiro could do with his savings, but the kids didn't seem to care. In an attempt to cheer everyone up, Ichiro promised to buy their favorite meal, but no one paid him any mind. Instead, they went out for dinner, leaving Ichiro to eat alone. One day, after working late and returning home exhausted, Ichiro found himself in a dark alley witnessing a group of thugs beating a man for money. He wanted to help but was too afraid. Just as he turned away, he saw Mari watching him, filled with disappointment. She didn't hold back, reminding him that he was a coward. Ichiro sat in front of their house, lost in thought, when a dog named Hanako approached him, seeking affection. The dog's collar bore a plea, "Please take care of her." Ichiro felt pity for the dog, but his wife insisted he get rid of it. In addition to this, she handed him a medical report that revealed he needed one more checkup. The next day, Ichiro visited the hospital and received devastating news. He had third-stage cancer, spreading throughout his body, with only a few months left to live. Overwhelmed by the diagnosis, he tried to call his wife, but she abruptly ended the call before he could tell her. His children didn't even answer their phones. Heart-heavy with despair, Ichiro took Hanako for a walk, wondering if his family would even shed a tear when they learned of his condition. With a heavy heart, he left Hanako by the side of the road and fled to a park. To his surprise, the faithful dog followed him. Realizing that the dog was the only one who seemed to care about him, Ichiro broke down in tears, apologizing to Hanako. Just moments later, he noticed another man sitting on a park bench nearby. Suddenly, a blinding light flashed in the sky, growing larger and larger. Something enormous plummeted from the heavens, striking Ichiro and the man beside him, ending their lives in an instant. The next day, Ichiro woke up in the same park where he had landed the previous day, and to his surprise, Hanako was right beside him. As he reached for his glasses, he realized something strange. He could see perfectly without them. Bewildered and unsure of what to do, he headed home. However, things took a bizarre turn when his hand transformed into a weapon-like device, and he violently vomited out his breakfast. His shock reached new heights when his face disintegrated, revealing an intricate electric system inside his head. Piece by piece, his entire body transformed into a machine. It turned out that the strange object that had struck him the previous night had been a mistake on the part of aliens piloting the object. They had inadvertently killed Ichiro and then resurrected him as a machine with emotions. Now, he possessed superhuman strength and the power of any machinery in the world. Meanwhile, the man who had been with him, named Hiro, also gained superpowers. Hiro paid a visit to his friend Naoyuki's house, where he demonstrated his newfound abilities by shooting a bird with his fingers. He then took Naoyuki to a parking lot and astounded him by moving vehicles with his mind. Naoyuki was left utterly baffled by Hiro's powers, feeling like he was trapped in a dream. As Ichiro continued to grapple with the strange turn of events, he stumbled upon an injured pigeon by the side of the road. When he reached down to pick it up, his hands miraculously healed the bird, which promptly flew away. This new ability was followed by heightened hearing, allowing him to overhear a mother's desperate pleas for doctors to save her son. Guided by his heightened senses, he found a sick child in a hospital bed. As he touched the boy's face, the healing powers he displayed with the pigeon manifested once more. Ichiro joyfully informed the child that he had recovered and returned home with a sense of happiness. However, Naoyuki faced challenges of his own when he was bullied by his classmates. Hiro intervened and attempted to harm the bully, prompting Naoyuki to stop him. This incident revealed that Hiro's newfound powers had made him violent, frightening Naoyuki. Shion, a girl from Hiro's class who had a crush on him, took a bold step and confessed her feelings, leaving Hiro stunned. Later, we are introduced to Hiro's mother, a waitress at a restaurant, and his father, a wealthy man who had left Hiro's mother for another woman. Hiro had no love for his father but still attended dinners with him and his new family. Hiro's step-siblings adored him, but he struggled to reciprocate those feelings, all while thinking of his struggling mother. As midnight approached, Hiro was on his way back home when he heard the sounds of a happy family, a painful reminder of his father's new life. Consumed by anger, he broke into their home, committing a heinous act that left the parents lifeless and sent their daughter fleeing down the hallway. Hiro's newfound powers fueled his quest for vengeance. Meanwhile, Ichiro was using his powers for good, healing many sick children in the hospital. However, the shocking murder made headlines the next day, as no bullets were found at the scene. Now, Yuki became increasingly worried that his friend Hiro might be involved in the gruesome crime. When they finally met, Hiro offered Yuki a substantial sum of money, igniting a heated argument between the two friends. Now Yuki couldn't fathom how Hiro could so easily take innocent lives and decided he could no longer be his friend. Hiro was devastated by now Yuki's words and returned home in a state of shock. Back at Hiro's home, he received another blow as he learned that his mother had pancreatic cancer. Overwhelmed with emotions, he cried in her arms, vowing not to let her die. Meanwhile, in Ichiro's household, chaos reigned as his son was caught stealing money from his mother's purse, and Mari revealed that she had no desire to attend university. Frustration reached its peak when Ichiro, attempting to reassure everyone, was met with laughter from Mari. She disclosed that Takeshi was being bullied at school, and her mother was involved in an affair with a younger man. Mari's attempt to hurt her father succeeded, leaving Ichiro alone in his room that night, shedding tears. In the darkness, Ichiro overheard now Yuki praying to God, pleading for Hiro to stop killing people. Realizing that the prayers were directed at Hiro, Ichiro felt a surge of purpose and immediately flew to meet now Yuki. After a heart-to-heart conversation, they realized that both Ichiro and Hiro had been transformed by some higher power. Now Yuki offered to train Ichiro to stop Hiro from causing further harm. Although they shared the same powers, Hiro's mastery of them far exceeded Ichiro's. The next day, they met in an abandoned garage, and Yuki started teaching Ichiro to shoot through his fingers. After some practice, Ichiro succeeded, but he knew he needed more. Meanwhile, Hiro and his mother visited the doctor, where Hiro revealed her miraculously vanished cancer cells. They left the doctor's office baffled, pondering the nature of the transformative powers. 6 policemen surrounded Hiro, determined to interrogate him about the series of murders that had shaken their community. Hiro's mother, desperate for answers, asked her son what he had done. In a moment of panic, Hiro made a run for it. Despite the policemen's efforts to catch him, Hiro managed to escape, using his extraordinary powers to evade capture. In a chilling turn of events, he shot 3 of the policemen dead, leaving no doubt that he was the prime suspect behind the gruesome murders. His face and story were now splashed across the news. The following day, Hiro's friend Shion found him on a bridge and offered him refuge in her home. She seemed indifferent to the people Hiro had killed and allowed him to stay with her for as long as he needed. Shion lived with her grandmother, which made it easier for Hiro to remain hidden in their house. Meanwhile, Ichiro had honed his skills in shooting from his fingers, and as days passed, he realized that water served as the fuel for his powers. However, he also discovered that he was allergic to sodium water. As Hiro hid, the media targeted his mother with online death threats and public harassment. Overwhelmed by guilt, Hiro watched her suffer on TV. Learning of her tragic fate through the news devastated him, turning his grief into seething anger. He resolved to exact revenge on those who had harmed his mother. Hiro learned to use his powers to eliminate people through the internet by targeting their devices, tracking down those who had posted negative comments about his mother. On the other hand, Ichiro had become a vigilant protector, hunting down those who used their online presence to harm others. One night, Hiro revealed his robotic arm to Cheyenne as proof of his inhuman nature. He took her into his arms and soared through the sky with the aid of his parachute. As they glided over the city's skyscrapers, he made a heartfelt promise to be with her forever. The unsolved murders sent shockwaves through the nation, driving people into a frenzy. 5 survivors of the attempted murder recounted that they had seen Hiro on their phone screens just before being shot. Tragedy struck again when a group of snipers suddenly opened fire in Cheyenne's kitchen. Hiro did his best to eliminate them but was unable to save a fatally wounded Cheyenne, leaving him grief-stricken and tormented by the consequences of his actions. With Cheyenne gone, Hiro found himself with nothing to live for, consumed by a numbing sense of vengeance. In a flash, he propelled himself through a window and took flight, leaving the police utterly baffled by the sudden turn of events. Ichiro, aware of Hiro's deadly intentions, urgently instructed his family to refrain from using smartphones and to stay safely at home. Yet, as usual, his family paid little heed to his warnings. Hiro, seizing the opportunity, hacked into every smartphone in Tokyo and declared war against Japan, vowing to exterminate all 120 million inhabitants until none remained. Without wasting a moment, Hiro unleashed a devastating attack by firing openly through billboards, causing hundreds of casualties within mere minutes, and plunging the city into chaos. Ichiro and Yuri intervened by taking control of Hiro's abilities and hacking into all the city's computers. They urged everyone to stay off their smartphones and computers, effectively putting a halt to Hiro's murderous rampage. As Hiro realized he was not the only one with such powers, he altered his plan by launching missiles in various parts of the city, intensifying the chaos. Ichiro eventually pinpointed Hiro's location and raced to confront him. The two superpowered individuals faced off on top of a skyscraper. Despite Ichiro's attempts to reason with Hiro, the battle raged on, taking to the skies above Tokyo. Hiro's missiles injured countless innocent people, including Mari, who cried out for help. After an intense struggle, they landed on the roof of a building. Ichiro once more implored Hiro to stop, but Hiro remained defiant. In a cunning move, Ichiro shot down a water bottle Hiro was about to drink from, surreptitiously replacing it with one containing sodium water. Unaware of the consequences, Hiro downed the water and proceeded to bombard Ichiro with missiles in the air. He was on the brink of delivering a final fatal blow when the effects of the sodium water weakened him, causing him to plummet from the skies. As the chaos raged on, Hiro had a moment of clarity, realizing that he had become the villain of this harrowing story. Amid this realization, Ichiro descended to save his daughter, finding her amidst the wreckage of a building, teetering on the brink of death. He channeled his powers to rescue her, and as they celebrated this reunion, Hiro returned to the scene. In a shocking turn of events, Hiro overpowered Ichiro, and in the ensuing struggle, Mari was shot. Fueled by rage, Ichiro's robotic powers surged, and he unleashed an unprecedented strength. Hiro, no match for Ichiro's newfound power, had his arm disassembled. In a climactic moment, Ichiro caught Mari in midair, saving her from a deadly fall. Mari, realizing the true nature of her father's character, watched in admiration as Ichiro used his powers to save others. A week after this intense confrontation, the press declared Hiro dead. Ichiro, now respected in his family, especially by his daughter, had transformed, one that came at the cost of gaining superpowers and the confrontation with Hiro. In the final moments, it becomes evident that Hiro has indeed survived and is depicted engaged in a conversation with his friend.